my name is Michelle Aschenbrenner, and I'm conducting an informational interview with Sarah Adams, Associate Director of Project Management at PPD, Pharmaceutical Product Development. Hello, Sarah.
Hi.
Congratulations on your recent promotion from Senior Project Manager to Associate Director at PPD. PPD is a clinical research clinic that conducts phase 1 clinical research studies for potential new medications on volunteer subjects. Can you tell me a little bit more about what PPD does?
Sure. I work in the PPD phase 1 clinic. In the phase 1 clinic, we conduct trials in normal, healthy volunteers. We are considered a CRO, which stands for a Contract Research Organization. We're a very large CRO, and pharmaceutical companies hire PPD to conduct these clinical trials for them, and we are basically the first step of testing outside of laboratories. And this is the first time that drugs are tested in humans is in our phase 1 clinic.
Wow. I know you've been working for PPD for about 10 years, and I have been working in clinical research for about 10 years, and I have goals of following a similar career path that you have, and I hope to gain some details about your journey today and your position. Can you tell me a general overview about your background and how you entered clinical research?
Sure. I came out of school with a degree in exercise physiology. I worked as an exercise physiologist at St. David's Hospital here in town, and I worked with cardiac rehab patients. And I worked with them right after they had open heart surgery, when they were on a inpatient, staying in the hospital, getting them out of bed, getting them up, working, just with little things that may seem simple to you and me. Just getting out of bed in the morning can be a really big task for those folks. I also worked with the cardiac patients on an outpatient basis, so once they were discharged from the hospital, their doctors would order an exercise program for them, and that exercise program was conducted inside of the actual hospital itself, so it was very safe and well controlled. So that was an outpatient program, and those patients came to work with me 3 times a week, and I decided that I wanted to move into a more of a preventative healthcare capacity. Oftentimes my patients were very progressed in their disease, and there was only so much we could do by the time they came to us in cardiac rehab, and so I felt like this field was definitely a very preventative healthcare capacity, and it's exciting to work on these new drugs.
I know that you are managing multiple clinical research studies here at PPD. Can you tell me what your day consists of as the Associate Director here?
Sure. So I have anywhere between maybe 6 and 10 ongoing studies that I'm responsible for at any given time. And those studies could be in any different phase. Some may be in setup phase, some may be actively recruiting or actively during the conduction stage. That means there are actually volunteers here in the clinic upstairs right now. And others may be clinically complete, but we may be wrapping up some of the data entry, data analysis, that sort of thing on the tail end of the study. And during the conduct of those studies, I am basically the eyes and the ears of the sponsor company that has hired PPD. So I result back questions, if they have questions or if we have questions, I'll report back to them and keep them updated on a day-to-day basis. That's my primary role, is a communicator between PPD and the pharmaceutical company.
I know the idea of helping people with the new potential drugs must be very rewarding. What other aspects of your position do you enjoy the most?
I think feeling like part of a team. This organization is a very large organization with many different departments, many different facets, not only within PPD, but also outside of PPD. We work with many vendors, the sponsor company, and it's nice to be working on a project with so many different individuals, and we're all working together towards the same goal, and it feels really nice when that all comes together at the end of a project, that we had success and that we worked well together.
I know you came from other departments as you worked your way up, so has that helped you to realize what other departments do?
Yes, absolutely. And PPD is very good about promoting from within, and I think it works well here with our model, with our business model, because I've come to learn kind of the inner workings of many different departments here in the clinic, and because I understand the detailed day-to-day operations of those departments, it helps me be able to troubleshoot or maybe foresee problems or issues before they arise.
What would you describe your proudest professional moment here at PPD as?
I think the obvious answer is my recent promotion to Associate Director. But I think also a moment I was very proud of was a particular study, probably the most noteworthy of all the studies I've been assigned to. We had some significant, very serious adverse events, drug-related, involving some hospitalizations, and I had never been exposed to anything quite like that before. And working with the pharmaceutical company, seeing how they reacted and how they treated those subjects, those volunteers in the trial, and then getting through to the other side, and all of those individuals who are affected are now leading their normal lives as if, this had never happened. Completing that study was something I'm very proud of, just being a part of that, because we overcame a lot of adversity.
As you just described, it seems like a lot of days can be unpredictable. What about your current position has surprised you the most?
I think you hit the nail on the head. When I come to work every day, I have a game plan. I have my day planned out. I know what studies I have recruiting. I know what studies I have in the clinic dosing. I have certain tasks on my own personal to-do list that I write. It's the last thing I write every evening when I leave for the day. The first thing I go to when I arrive in the clinic in the morning. And I found that many days I may only get to 2 items on that to-do list, and there are so many things that are unpredictable and unexpected that come up during the phase and the course of these studies that sometimes you just can't even plan ahead. You just kind of have to take it as it comes and prioritize and deal with what you have to deal with at that given moment.
You just described some challenging things. Are there other areas that you find challenging in your position?
I think probably the most challenging thing for me is communicating what may be perceived as negative information or bad news to a client. I get to be the one to experience and explain good news and good results, and we hit this deadline, we made this deadline, we're going to be able to enroll your study. All that great news that I get to communicate is a really fun part of my job, but when I have to communicate the bad news or the mistakes, that can be pretty difficult.
What personal qualities or qualifications would you say a manager or director in this industry should have?
I think first and foremost is the knowledge of the industry and the knowledge of this particular clinic, procedures, policies, and I think by starting in an entry-level position, working in many different departments, that's how you gain that. And then the other qualities I would say would be to be an effective communicator and to be organized.
That's all questions I have. You've given me great insight and motivation to continue my hard work and strive for my goals in communication. Thank you for your time today.
You're welcome.